All right. So I felt like it was very important for me to do a IGTV today and really go over everything that is happening. So, and I feel like these are going to be fun. I've been not doing as many solo episodes on my podcast and bringing more and more guests on because I feel like I've been vibing more lately with video. So, we'll go with it for right now. But so, yes, like my cup. I found it at, I think, Home Goods. That was like, I was like, I have to get this. But anyway, just going over everything. So, yeah. So it can feel really intense. And if you just saw my Instagram stories, I was just saying, like, literally the last, 3 or 4 days, I was completely wiped out. Like, such a bad, my head was just, filled with, I don't even know, so much pressure. And that happens to me a lot when I'm doing a lot of upgrades. Like, when I first got, Reiki attuned, so I think it was after my Reiki 2 attunement. Oh my gosh. And it's, I always know because it's, right here, right on that third eye area where your pineal, pituitary glands, all that stuff is. I literally had my face down in my pillow, and it's different than a migraine. Like, I've had migraines, and I know what that feels like. But no matter how much Tylenol or ibuprofen you take, it isn't going to help because it is not migraine. It is an energetic upgrade. And it's really fascinating, actually, because as you guys know, I love the science side of things too. And there's all these studies done on psychics and mediums who have done this for probably their whole lives, 20, 30 years, and their craniums and then their pineal and pituitary glands are actually larger. They're a different size. And if you go back and study the planet, they say around the Atlantean age, when Atlantis was still a thing and still around, they did a lot of genetic trials and studies, which is actually why our brains started to get, or our heads started to get smaller, and we're now going back to that larger head to be able to kind of fit in that bigger pituitary and pineal glands. So it's really interesting. So if you've been feeling the headaches, it's totally normal. But I would recommend resting. Something that is so important right now is don't force anything. We are given this time at home to really, really just get clear and allow yourself to process and allow your body to readjust. And this was something that I feel was so important for me to share. I'm going to pull it up on my phone, actually, because it came through my meditation the other day. And I feel like it's going to just make you guys feel so much better because there is a lot of uncertainty going on right now. But what is so important is knowing that all of this stuff, even with the coronavirus, it's so fascinating that it is attacking the respiratory system, because the respiratory system, the heart, the thymus, which is another chakra that is working its way in through this ascension process as we're working on becoming our light body versions of ourselves, which is our thymus, and then that's our higher heart, and then our throat. Those are the biggest things. And it's also attacking our third eye, because our heads have been just pounding. But this is something I just want to share with you. And don't get me wrong, there is a science to all of this too. So this is not, I'm not a doctor. This is not to say that there isn't a virus, because there definitely is. But there is a deeper spiritual meaning to all of this. So I just want to share it with you guys. So in meditation, so this was on Monday, so this is a while ago. This was as I was my head was about to explode. So I heard that the coronavirus is more of an energetic thing, and of course it's attacking, and I had it in quotations, the lungs, because that is a direct connection to the heart chakra, which is what is opening on a whole new level right now. Our heart chakras are really opening up, so that's why you might be feeling triggers and old situations, old people really coming in full blast, frustration, sadness, annoyances, old relationships, someone that you used to date 5 years ago. They might be coming back into your mind or your dreams, and you're what? I'm over them. Why are they coming in? And it's simply because it's Our heart has to clear. We have to let go of these heavy weights because on earth we're so used to like shoving it down, avoiding, suppressing, not noticing, like not acknowledging, I'm fine, I'm good, like even though you're fuming or you're so sad or you're frustrated. So we're given no other option right now but to face it. So that's something that's going on in the heart. The heart is clearing. You might even experience some heart palpitations, tightness in the chest. Totally normal. It's actually a huge part of the spiritual awakening process is the heart. I have heart palpitations all the time, and so many of my clients, friends, my boyfriend, like so many people have experienced these things, and they go to the doctor, nothing's wrong. It's because your heart chakra is clearing and reawakening and opening, and there's a lot of studies done on that as well, so there's a lot of science to this. It's really interesting. So anyways, when spiritual upgrades take place, we often experience many similar things, like fevers, coughs, fatigue, chest tightness. However, many people simply can't handle the new frequencies coming in, and that is why it is impacting a lot of the elderly. And of course, there's other people being affected now too, but we have to be reminded of the fact that we're all on our own journeys. And like, for instance, the elderly, they've lived however many years. They've lived a long time. They're like ready to kind of journey on back to their like light body, whatever you believe in, heaven, the other side, just becoming your light form. Like, they're ready for that. They're like, I've been through a lot. Some of them have been through World War II, the Depression. Some of them have, well, they've all pretty much been through like the Vietnam War, like the Cold War time. Like, they've been through a lot. They've been doing a lot on an energetic level that they're like, yep, nope, my job here is done. And even though it's very sad for us, they're flying high. So we do have to remind ourselves of that. I always say that it is hard for us here on earth who are experiencing grief and loss, but don't be sorry for them. They're now living their best lives. Like, they're free from all this, like, here on earth. So just being reminded of that, it is so hard. And I think that's one of the scariest things from, like, my own experience with this, the fears that have come up for myself of like, oh my gosh, like what if somebody else gets sick, like somebody close to me, because like we can't control that, right? We can kind of control our body, like we are in control of our bodies, but our egos like to think we're not in control of our body, but we can't control other people. And that was something that was really hard for me. I worked through that a lot, like the beginning of the week of like, what if somebody close to me gets sick? And I can't do anything about that. What if they die? And we have to be reminded of they're never dying. They're just changing forms, but it's our ego self that can't really understand that. So I don't get too far off of my tangent. So that's why the elderly are being really impacted by this. However, there are exceptions, of course, and simply those younger individuals will be assisting us from the other side. It's just a matter of keeping our energetic frequencies high and putting up shields daily. This is so important because, of course, there's younger people being impacted too. But we have to be reminded, we all have our own journeys. Just like I know people have said to me before, well, like, if there is a God, then why does he take little babies? And that's a really valid question. But we have to remind ourselves that that little baby is on his or her own journey. Like, yes, it's seen that it's being taken from the family, from the parents, like so on and so forth. But we also have to be mindful of the fact that maybe that child realized, like, this isn't for me. I can't get done what I needed to get done here. And that's why you'll see a lot of, like, crib deaths, all of that, because they realize, like, when they come in, like, wait a minute, I can't do what I need to get done here, so I need to go. Or like little children with cancer and different things like that, how horrible and sad it is, but for whatever reason, their soul needed to experience that for whatever soul lesson. So we have to be reminded of that. And I know it's still hard. It's very hard for our ego because it's all about letting go of control. And when we can't control things, we get very frustrated, we get very anxious. So we have to be reminded of that to allow our emotions to process, to allow ourselves to kind of like, why do I feel that way? Oh, okay, because I am afraid of what happens if, right? But how about we start to play, what happens if my family and friends do stay healthy and well? What happens if they find a cure for this tomorrow? What happens if this is all over by next week? Like, we have to start to raise that frequency, but also, in the meantime, because of course right now, there are still so many people being affected. There are so many people being impacted by this. We have to stay positive as much as we can. It's not to say don't acknowledge the fear, but when the fear creeps in, how can you pivot so you're not like allowing yourself to go? I call them like tornadoes, like mind traps and fear tornadoes, where all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, and what if I die? What if my whole family dies and I'm all alone? And right, like that's what happens when we allow it. So we have to, as soon as it comes in, why is this coming up? Oh, it's coming up because, oh, okay, so, and like work yourself through it, talk yourself through it. Well, everyone's okay right now, and I can't control this, so I'm going to call on Archangel Raphael or Merlin because they're perfect for healing and bringing healing and soothing energy. So that's something that's really, really important for you guys to be doing right now. Becoming hyper aware of what you can do. And this really is a beautiful time because it's teaching us how to surrender, right? Like we have no other choice right now but to surrender. We have no other choice because this is out of our hands. This is out of our control. There isn't a vaccine right now. There isn't a cure. Like there's so many unknowns. Like so many people are put out of work. So many people are now, almost all of us are at home right now, right? Like this is just like teaching us like we have to surrender. We don't know what's coming next. So all we could do is that phrase, like, let go and let God. Okay, like, I think you know what you're doing, right? I trust that you know what you're doing. And just be reminded of you chose to be here. Before you came down to earth, you signed up to live through this moment. And we're going to get through it. And when we get through it, we're going to come out better than ever before. And I know you guys watching this, you are all light workers. And you're experiencing a lot of changes. And so I do want to dive into that a little bit of like what's going on with your bodies. So our hearts are actually really like, we're opening back up. So our heart is the most powerful energy center in our body. And what happens is, like, for instance, like somebody had messaged me earlier today saying how they had a dream of somebody they haven't talked to in 15 years. And then that morning they woke up with a message from Facebook, like from that person on Facebook. So that is you feeling the vibration, the energy before it shows up physically. So your heart feels that vibration, and then it sends a signal up to the brain, which that vibration that is sent from the heart to the brain then matches an emotion, which then triggers either a memory, a fight or flight response. Like, that's how it happens. So even with this coronavirus, it is first in our energy field. So that's why we want to keep our energy clear, because your physical body is the last body or part of you for things to show up in. It has to go through every other layer first. So it is important to keep your energy clear. And that's why pay attention to those emotions, but also like listen to your body. But anyways, like your heart is awakening. The more our heart awakens, the more we become like a magnet for miracles, for the things that we're desiring, self-love, empowerment. That's what's coming in right now. So we are clearing the fear. Think of like a huge brick wall that's been around our hearts of like anger, frustration, the breakups, the losses, the grief, the guilt, everything that you were feeling. Every brick has to be kind of like torn down right now, so the floodgates can open. So with that is going to come discomfort because, yeah, your body's literally physically has to adjust. And our thymus is starting to open back up as well, because the thymus, like once our thymuses are operating at optimal frequency, which of course is going to take a lot of time. It's not going to happen tomorrow, or it's not going to probably happen by the end of this virus. This is just the beginning. It's going to go back to its optimal functioning, how like it's the largest when you're a baby and like it doesn't grow, or whatever, like it is, the science behind it is, when it used to not be like that, however many years ago, obviously not in our lifetime. And when that is operating at its full frequency, which is actually another chakra that's coming in, because we're moving into an 11 chakra system as all of this plays out, the ascension continues, because once we're in that state, we can become our light body states. But, and I know this is a lot, this is probably over some of your heads right now, but I just want you to know that tightness is coming in because all of this is changing. We have to release the old programs, the old blocks, the energetic blocks that are preventing this area from expanding, from opening, because it is trying right now. So really using this time at home, not to avoid, but to start to dig deeper. what is still bothering me? Why is this coming up? Why did I dream about that last night? Maybe it is still bothering me. So important. But then going up to the throat, you might experience some sore throats, especially females. I feel like throat chakras are usually something that's kind of going on, because that's your voice, speaking your truth. For me, it's always been my issue, because not that I have a problem speaking my truth now with all this stuff, I used to, but really standing up for myself has been something that I really struggled with, in speaking my truth and not like holding it all in until I like explode. So your throat might be feeling a little sore. Just drink a lot of warm water and lemon, honey, all of that. I've been drinking a lot of like throat coat, which is a tea, and breathe, which is like a yogi tea. So those are really, really good. I think on Amazon they're all sold out, but I found them actually at the grocery store. I was like very thankful for that, because I was very surprised. So take care of that area. And if you feel like you don't need to talk as much, like don't talk. Like that's something also that's coming up, is don't just talk to talk, right? Like we feel like we have to talk, and what that usually leads to is us complaining and talking about all the horrible things in our life and drama. So instead, starting to switch that of like, I don't have anything to say, so you know what, I am just going to be quiet. Just be still. Just be present. That's an important thing. And then going up to that third eye, those headaches you might be feeling, I feel ya. Like I said, I was wiped out for like 3 days, but I had to listen to that, and that's something that I don't like to do, of having to be like, hey, like I literally need to, like I have to take this like as a sick day, and like I'm really sorry, but will you be able to reschedule? I hate doing that, because then I have to change my whole schedule, but you really have to honor the energetics, and especially recently, like in the last like year, it's been intense, and we have to pay attention to that. So honoring your third eye, and like a big tool, like a really powerful tool that I use is in a meditation, I'll kind of just like rest my head back, and I'll envision like beautiful like white light, almost like if you were to water a plant, but like watering my third eye, and it really like rejuvenates, and I feel so much better afterwards. So I would try something like that, but you can also ask for more endorphins. That would help you. That always has helped, like when it comes to like my third eye feeling better. But also like sleep it off. Like sometimes it's gonna get so bad where you can't sleep, but if you can, try to sleep it off. Just lay in bed even. Like just take a day or two, and like don't force it. Relax. Don't force your way through this, because it's just gonna get worse, and you don't want those reactions to flare up into something worse. So do as much as you can right now to like honor your body, to relax, knowing these things that you're feeling, the palpitations, the tightness, the throat, the pounding, like it feels like so much pressure in your head. It's very normal. I mean, yes, you can also say those are signs of the virus, but chances are if you're a light worker, it's just your body adjusting. And not that if you're, I mean, we're all light workers, but if you're aware you are, it's chances are your body's adjusting. Still, it doesn't hurt to do, like I said, I'm not a doctor. So if you feel safer, like going to the doctor, like, yes, definitely do that. But just little things I've been doing, just drinking a ton of warm water with honey and lemon, elderberries, just spoonfuls of honey, tea, all of that's going to help you. Meditating, just resting. I've been doing tons of energy healing sessions. Yesterday, like, afternoon, that's when I started feeling better, was after a quick energy healing session I had done. It worked wonders. So if you are somebody who feels like, you know what, like I do, like energy healing right now is the most important thing. I can't emphasize that enough. Like get an energy healing session. I am here to support you. I am here to serve you. Like I've already had a few, and I have a few more that are coming in within the next few weeks, because our bodies need to energetically adjust, and the energy healing will just help to smooth the process, make it easier, remove any blocks or resistance, so it can happen as quick as possible, as smooth as possible. Your body needs it. Like I said, it's like thinking of either if you're really thirsty and like drinking water, how great that feels, like quenching your thirst, or like watering a plant that hasn't been watered and the soil's all dry and the plant's starting to turn like brown. That's what's happening when you're getting an energy healing session. It's like rebooting your system. So that's something that is very important, but also knowing this is the time to come together. We are coming together as a collective. We are waking up to the fact of like, wait a minute, like, why are we like every man for ourselves? Why are we so selfish. Why do we feel that way? Why do we feel separate? Why do we feel so judgmental of other people? Because it's really just a projection of your inner world. So it's all about reconnecting with your truth now, reconnecting with who you truly are. And when we are in that reconnection phase, we realize we are one. We aren't separate. We are one. We are all a piece of this beautiful puzzle of what you might refer to as a God, a creator, a divine. We are all a beautiful, magical piece of that bigger hierarchy, that bigger puzzle. So when we can get into that perspective, it becomes like, oh, we all do need each other. We really are in this together. And that's why you're seeing so many people coming together, supporting each other, loving at each other. So something that's so important, like an underlying message, don't stop when all of this stops. We need to continue this. This is so important. We need to continue this love frequency, thinking of others, putting others first, realizing we're all in this together, right? Like, this can't just stop when all of this stops, because it's gonna happen again. We need to learn the lesson, or else history repeats itself, right? So how can we come out of this a better person? How can we come out of this more aligned with who we truly are? How can we come out of this clearer and more aligned, filled with love than ever before? And thinking of this time, like, what are you doing differently? Why? And how does that feel? Chances are you've probably been feeling, like, besides like fears that have been coming in, you've probably been feeling really good because you're supporting other people. Other people are supporting you. People are reaching out to each other, checking in on each other, stuff like that. So important. We need to keep this momentum going, because we don't realize how much that's increasing the frequency of the planet and making this ascension process much easier too. And if you don't know what the ascension is, it's just bringing, like, quote unquote, like heaven on earth, pure love and harmony back to the planet, which is obviously going to take time, but yes, it's happening. Think of a dog, like, shaking off, like, fleas. Like, it has to shake the fleas off for them to, like, be released, right? Like, we have to shine light on the quote-unquote darkness when there's really no good or bad. It's only our ego's perception. But we have to clear the old patterns that are not of service of who we truly are, of that unity, of that harmony, of that oneness. So important. So just working on that. How can I be of service today? Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you for showing me the path of the least resistance. So on and so forth. That's going to really, really benefit you. But I can't emphasize this enough. Like, we are exactly where we need to be. We wouldn't be here if this wasn't where we are supposed to be. This is our wake up. This is just the beginning, guys. So how can you make the most of this? How can you really work on now? I can't control what's happening around me, but how can I control my inner world? I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing harmony. Work with beings like Archangel Raphael and Merlin just to bring healing. Thank you for bringing healing on all levels, mind, body, soul, spirit, whether I'm aware of it or not. So on and so forth. And you can also be calling on Archangel Michael for protection. Thank you for protecting my energy field, keeping me safe, keeping my family safe. Thank you for ensuring that only love and light enter my field, my frequency. Thank you for cutting cords, dissolving cords to any beings, any situations, any people who are no longer of service to my highest and greatest good. Thank you for providing me with the confidence. Thank you for helping me release. Just stuff like that is going to be really, really beneficial for you. And be aware of your energy field. Be super, super aware of how can you clear, letting go of those old emotions, honoring those triggers, freeing them, but just being in that state of surrender. Allow yourself to receive the frequencies of healing, whether it is getting an energy healing session, whether it's meditating, whether it's journaling out the people, the situations that you need to let go of, whether it's just saying a mantra of like, I'm open to receive, I choose to flow with the universe, no longer forcing things upstream and get back into the current and just flow with it downstream, right? Like, we got to do that. We're doing it now because we have no other option. So it's a really beautiful time. And lastly, I did just want to touch on this on Wednesday. So Wednesday, the 8th, I am going to be doing a free collective energy healing in my Facebook group, Ambitious Soul Getters. I will be posting more about this in the next few days. So if you are somebody who is like, okay, I need all the energy I can get right now, maybe you don't have the money right now to invest in an energy healing session, this is for you. Even if you do and you're going to do one-on-one sessions as well, the more the merrier. The more we come together as a collective, we all balance each other out, right? Like I said, we're all a beautiful piece to this bigger puzzle. So when we're all together, it's like we're all balancing each other. We're all like, hey, you're maybe not as strong with this, well, I am, so here's that. And we share, and like, well, I'm weaker with this and you're stronger with that. So it's like a collaborative, a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to come together, to rise, to heal, to evolve, so we can come out of this better than ever before. How can you leave this in the greatest ways, more aligned, more at peace than you've ever been? How can you come out of this finally like, this is my life, I'm the creator, I am choosing now only things that feel aligned to me, only the things that I love, that are in alignment, and that light my heart up, that make me excited. So important. So many lessons coming through, but I felt like I needed to hop on to just kind of go over all that with you guys. So I am sending you so much love. If you have any other questions, feel free. If you want more information on the Energy Healing Collective, let me know. I'll send you the information. If you do want to book a one-on-one session, feel free to reach out to me. It is so needed right now, and I am just honored to be of service to you guys. I am sending you so much love. Let me know how you're feeling below. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I look forward to connecting more.